Hey everybody, Jeff here, aka Penguin. I've decided to go back and answer some stroke questions from the Stroke Survivor group because I haven't done that in a while. I haven't been active in the group in a while. I've had my own health issues and I've recently moved, so we're starting to get settled in. I got my new setup going on, so I thought it was time to answer some questions. So let me get to it. I want to pull up two that I saw today because I thought they were great questions. The other ones are from the past. I don't think I've answered any of them prior to this, so we will see. First one says, and this is from Christine, says, let me ask, does anyone startle much more easily since their stroke? Because I do. There's a funny story to that with me. I've never in my life startled easy, and to this day I don't startle easy. Rarely does anything scare me, and it probably should at times, but my brain fails to tell that to my arm because my arm startles very easily. If something happens quickly or a loud noise or something, I'll do this with my right hand, but my left hand goes into a spasm and all over the place like this, and it's hard to control. It's funny, I laugh at it because nothing else I can do. It hurts like hell, but that's why we try not to get me startled with anything. But sometimes waking me up does that if my wife has to wake me up for something. Sometimes if a song or something I'm listening to on my playlist is louder than something else, it'll do that. And it's the craziest thing. So I guess I'm going to say yes and no to that, Christine, because I do get startled in my arm, but I don't get startled in the rest of my body. It's weird, but my brain just isn't cooperating with my arm when it comes to something like that. That is an excellent question. I would love to hear if some people want to put in the comments their feelings on it, because I would love to hear that. Let me start by saying I'm putting this on YouTube versus uploading it to the group. And the main reason I'm doing that is because there are some people in the group who have a hard time hearing due to the stroke and prior to the stroke. So if you turn on the closed caption in YouTube, you should be able to follow most of what I'm saying. I've already tested this and it works for the most part. So this video will be available on YouTube, and click on the link and it'll take you to it and you can watch it closed caption. Second one was, Paul said, it's been 6 months since my stroke. Now I feel tired all the time, and I can't seem to concentrate on anything. Oh, how I wish things were better. Paul, that is a great indication that things are getting better. I'm 3.5 years out from my stroke. Roughly 3.5. I guess 3 and a third or a quarter or something like that. But I tend to find out to this day, when I sleep a lot more, when I'm tired a lot more, my body tells me to sleep, which let me preface this by saying sleep when your body tells you to and wake when your body tells you to. Your body knows, especially after a stroke, your body knows when you need to sleep and it knows when you need to get up. But I have found that this is when my body is healing. It's a week or two after this stretch, which normally lasts a week or two, that I find that I'm able to do more. I can walk a little bit better. I have a little bit more control of my arm or my hand, and my fingers move a little bit better and things like that. So it could be a good thing that you're feeling tired and that you're sleeping more and things like that. So don't knock it as being a bad thing. It actually could be a good thing. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Since stroke, who else thinks about death? If I had a choice, I'd like to go while on vacation. At least I know I'll be while I'm having a good time. This is something that I've actually thought about, but nobody's ever asked me about this. And when I had the stroke, that was actually the second time that I almost died. The first time was during neck surgery, to where I basically coded on the table and they had to resuscitate me and everything like that. So I do think about death. I've never thought about it, on a vacation. I've always thought about it. I wanted it to be quick. I don't want to drown. I don't want to die in a fire. I know that. But I think the main thing is I don't want to die at a point where my family has to watch me suffer. And I have to know, even in my subconscious, that they're suffering by watching me suffer. So I want it to be quick. And I don't want them to suffer or have to care for me during this. I think that's probably my main concern when it comes to stroke. Let's see. I have some stuff written down. Again, I've cheated death twice, or I don't know if cheated is the correct word. I've beaten death twice. And hopefully I can continue to do that should the occasion arise. But I don't think we know the time, and I don't think we know the place. It may be predestined, depends on how you believe. But I know the ways that I don't want to go. And that's what I've listed above. But that's a great question. And I've never been asked that, but I actually do think about death a lot more. And I think about how it would hurt my family more so than anything else. And I don't know if that's strange or not, but that's kind of what I think about. Let's see. Anyone have problems? This is from Tammy. Has anyone had problems with their teeth or gums post-stroke? I've always had problems with my teeth. I was born without enamel on them, and which means they're brittle, they're broken. I know at some point I'm going to have to get dentures. I have most of my bottom teeth, but I don't have many of my top teeth left. And that's why when I talk, throughout the years, it's just my upper lip covers my teeth so they're not shown. I never smile and show my teeth. The last time I had to do that is when the doctors asked me to do that after the stroke. Or when I go to my neurologist, they want me to smile to see how my progress has been. But I never smiled showing teeth because they've always looked bad. No matter what I do, they're yellow. No matter what I've tried, they're yellow because there were no enamel on them. Because there wasn't any enamel, well, they just haven't done very well after 46 years, or 46. I'm almost 49 years. They just haven't done well, and I think that I'm not trying to impress anybody anymore. I've been married for going on 23 years now, so I really don't. I don't want to say I don't care what my appearance is, but I'm not out to impress anybody, so I'm not going to do something extravagant. Like get veneers or something like that, pay an exorbitant amount of money to make my teeth look better. They are what they are, and they're going to be what they're going to be. Delane posted, wondering how many of you had diabetes. Doctor didn't determine what caused my stroke. I think it had to do with diabetes. Mine definitely had to do with diabetes. I didn't know I had diabetes, and my A1C, for those of you who know what that is, it's kind of a 3-month history of your blood sugars. My A1C was 15, which is about 3 times the amount that it's supposed to be. And that's what caused my stroke. I was told in the hospital that I could have smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and it would have no more bearing on me having the stroke than what my A1C did, because I was a ticking time bomb, so to speak. And I was very lucky that I survived that. I still have issues with diabetes, still have bouts with it. I'm on insulin, I'm on oral meds, and I'm not going to say we're winning the battle, but we're putting up a good fight right now, because I don't want to go through that again. I mean, who wants to? And it's a good question, and I think that a lot of strokes are caused by diabetes. So find out, because I'm sure they did blood work and I'm sure they know the answers. Find out what your A1C was at the time. And if it was above 10, there's a very good chance that had a large role in you having a stroke. Let's see. Okay, Paula wrote, those of you that have had full left or right side paralysis, who all has or has not gotten sensation back, and when post-stroke did it start coming back? Well, a month after my stroke, I was able to walk being assisted. I was able to have that function in my leg, and that's because I worked really hard in rehab. I think that there's no answer to that because it's how hard you try to work it and how well your PT and your OT people work it. Because technically the way it comes down to your physical therapist in rehab, they work on your lower body, they work on your leg and get things moving that way. And PT, OT or occupational therapy doesn't necessarily get you ready to go to work, but it works on your upper body. It works on your arm, your shoulder, your hand, your fingers, and things like that. And I had some great therapists. However, when I left rehab, I still didn't have any use, or I couldn't move my fingers or anything like that. So that was kind of something that I had to work on my own, which I did. I worked really hard on my own, doing different things. And it seemed like special dates, holidays, and things like that, I was able to do more. I remember it was a year later on my wife's birthday when I actually was able to move my fingers like this because I was excited to show her. You know, it was on her birthday. And I was excited to show her that. But I got movement back a little bit as far as just being able to do this. I mean, I can still move a little bit. I can go like this. I can go like this. I can raise it to about here. I can't do a whole lot. And will it ever come back? I don't know, but by God, I'm working on it. And I'll never stop working on it because I want to get back to where I was. And this leads into the next question. Does anyone recover 100% from a stroke or brain hemorrhage? A brain hemorrhage is a type of stroke, so keep that in mind. They're both brain injuries. But I was told to never expect to get to 100%. I could get to 99.9, but because a part of my brain is actually dead, that I would never get to 100%. So I'm not expecting to get to 100%. But I want to get to as close to it as possible. In saying that, I would say my walking is probably 65 or 70%. I can walk some distance unaided. After about 100 feet, if it's more than that, I need to use a cane. And if it's more than about 200 continuous walking, then I'm not going to be able to do it. I have to use a wheelchair or electric cart or something like that. Preferably the electric cart, since my arm can't draw the wheel. So I don't think anybody gets back to 100%. People get back to where they can live their lives, they can go back to work and live fulfilled life after that. But I'm not sure 100%, and I would love to hear of anybody who actually who suffered a major stroke, because there are minor ones where people don't get affected. I have a good friend of mine that it affected his right side of his body, and it really only affected his right arm. He walks fine, but he's longer out than I am, but I have more use of my arm than he does. And I think part of that might be because it just wasn't worked the way mine was worked. So, but anybody who does have 100%, yeah, comment on it, because I would love to know, and I would love to know what you did to get there. Anybody has any idea what's PT purpose for? Should it be done after motor control returned? I started my PT. Let's see, my stroke happened on a Tuesday. I started my PT a week after my stroke. There's different theories about that because they used to wait until a month afterwards to start PT, and now they start it right away. I think starting it right away, this is my personal opinion, and the internet's going to show mixed opinions, but I think right away is the way to go, because what you have to understand with a stroke is part of your brain dies. That means no transmissions go through that. So if you imagine it like a clog on an interstate or a traffic jam, things have to be rerouted. Now, they don't wait to reroute it until they, absolutely have to, until it's almost cleaned up. They reroute traffic right away to get things moving again as quickly as possible. So I think that's kind of the same way. If they're doing road work, you're detoured. And I think that it works the same way in your brain. The quicker that you start sending those signals in an alternate route to get to your arm, to get to your leg, or whatever's affected, I think is a better idea. So in my opinion, the quicker the better. And PT, again, is your lower body. They want to get you walking again. That's what their main focus is to get you walking again. And occupational therapy, or OT, their main purpose is to get your upper extremity working again, or your affected side. I don't want to say your weak side to tell you not to say that, but to get the affected side working again. Don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Stasia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Stasia. You guys who have slurred speech ever feel like when you talk, you are just bumbling idiot? I notice every time I take a shower, my speech gets awful. Well, I feel my speech is a lot worse than it was before my stroke. You guys are going to say, well, sometimes you can't even tell that you've had a stroke. If you knew me before, you would know that my speech is affected. I know that this side of my mouth droops. It's getting a little bit better. But I used to speak so articulate. My wife says it was like Friends, Ross of Friends, how precise he would speak and how he would enunciate everything so properly. And that's I used to pride myself on my grammar and my speech. But now I've just accepted this is the way that I talk. I do these videos because it helps. The more you talk, the better you're going to speak. And simply reading a book out loud, if you like to read it out loud. If nobody's around, or if somebody's around, who cares? Read it out loud and listen to yourself. And maybe you can learn ways how to say things better or articulate better. But I never felt like I was a bumbling idiot. To this day, I still don't like to talk on the phone. And I actually do public speaking on strokes in the area. So I speak in front of people, and the reason I do is to let them know that, there is hope. I suffered a major stroke right at midline, and I'm alive. I can walk, I can talk, I can think. I may not remember what I said yesterday, but I can remember things that happened 48 years ago. And I am 48. So my long-term memory I think it's been enhanced. It sounds strange, but I think it's been enhanced. And the other thing I want to say to you guys is this. I've been seeing, once again, so many people, I'm ready to give up. The stroke's beat me. It's beaten me down. If that's the way you feel, then it has already won. You have to stay positive. You have to, if you don't have a support group around you, you have one within this group. Everybody supports everybody. And to my knowledge, I have never said or seen anything negative being said about anything. But you cannot go in with the attitude, the woe is me, this happened to me, my life's over. Just take it as a challenge and say, I'm going to get better. Life has thrown a wrench into my system. For how long? I don't know. I may have lost my spouse or my significant other. You know what? Time rolls on. Life rolls on. Given that smallest chance. You're alive. That's the smallest chance. I'm here to tell you there is hope. There is possibility that you can get better. I can reach out and I can grab something with my hand. I'm not very good at letting go once I grab something, but I can actually grab something. I give it a purpose. I open the refrigerator door with my left hand. I have a button or two on the keyboard as I'm learning how to retype, because I had to learn how to type one-handed. I've become very proficient at it. But I've also learned how to use that for like the A, the S, the Z. I'll use my left hand, even though it slows me down, just to get it used to pressing a button again. So Do what you can to do better. Don't give up. Work harder. Instead of giving up, work harder. Do more exercises. Stretch your arm. Stretch it because you don't want it to get locked like this, like mine has. I mean, I cannot straighten it all the way, but I push it every day to try to get it to open up, to get straighter. If you have to work it yourself, do it. When I got out of the hospital, or should I say when I got out of rehab, I had 3 sessions of PT and 3 sessions of OT. You know what that consisted of? One was the pre-screening and everything to find out exactly where I stood. The second session actually did some work, and the third session was exit. So I had really one day of those 3 days of PT and OT. I had one day where I actually did anything. But thank goodness my great therapist at Health South gave me information about this thick combined with just different exercises as I progressed and what to do. If you can move your arm at all, start getting a weight, half a pound, 1 pound, just start moving it. Start strengthening your arm again because those muscles have to be retaught what to do as quick as possible because you don't want it to freeze up. You do not want scar tissue to start on your muscle because let me tell you something. If scar tissue starts on your muscles, it's a painful progress to try to get it back, even to get it 50% back. It's a painful process. Take that from experience. So I'm going to let everybody go. This video is going on for about 20 minutes now. And I'm going to do a live video here pretty soon. I'll let you guys know when it is. And it will be on YouTube. And it'll be total open forum asking questions. So look forward to that coming soon. This is Jeff, a.k.a. Penguin, saying, be somebody important. Be yourself. Peace out, everybody.